Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Live on HGI TV. This is Len Perutz, Director of Sales and Marketing here at HGI. It's Monday, April 9th, 2018, and we are excited. We've got a great night in store for you. I'd like to take a moment now and introduce the founder, CEO, and chairman of HGI, Mr. Hubert Humphrey. Good evening, Hubert.
Thank you, Lynn. It's great to be here with you. Welcome, HGI Nation. What a special night we've got tonight. Of course, every time we can get together with all you great entrepreneurs, it's a wonderful time. But tonight is a very defining moment in our company. You know, we over the years, as we've been able to build a lot of these great companies we built in the past, there were always some defining moments that were the forks in the road for people. And tonight's one of these. And so we're very excited about what we're going to be doing here tonight. You know, we've got we've got, I think, the greatest, for the right person, we've got the greatest business opportunity in the world. I was chatting with Grant a little bit a while ago about a big seminar he just got through, and he had people from all walks of life, all kinds of businesses were there at his seminar down there he just got through conducting. Everybody wants to be somebody. That was one of the things that I learned a long time ago. And of course, somebody always has to make some money, and they've got to be able to be in business. One of the reasons why we chose the money business is that's where the money's at. Same thing with old Willie Sutton when he was the famous bank robber, when he was caught about the fourth or fifth time robbing banks, and they put him back in prison. And the reporters asked him, say, Willie, how come you keep robbing banks? He said, because that's where the money is. And that's the reason why we're here, guys. And as you see on the screen, it says, build leaders and teams will come. That's our whole motto. That's our whole philosophy. So very excited about that. And I really think we've got the greatest ground floor opportunity in the world. It's hard to talk about a ground floor when we've been doing this for 35 years and built big companies and all this great stuff, but this is truly a ground floor opportunity. I learned a long time ago that the best way sometimes to do something is to repot it, is to repot the plant in a new area, a new soil, a new pot. And that's what I've been able to do with myself over the years, is repot myself. And I tell you, guys, that's what you need to do. Those of you that are out there looking for a new home, this is the place to be. So we're very, very excited about you being here. As you look at our opportunity here tonight, you'll be able to see that we've got what I call the 4 M's. We have money products, which I said was life insurance industry, financial services industry. That's where the money's at. We got money products. We got multiples. We got a great leadership format system that helps go out and build these great wide, deep, and geometrically growing teams. Then we got the greatest market potential out there, and then we've got machines. Guys, we got technology, and our guest speaker tonight he's really mastered himself in communicating through social media and just using technology. Back in the old days, we only could build it at dream speed. Now we can add web speed to our deal. We can bring the high touch meets human touch here. So we're very excited about this great opportunity here tonight to talk with us. We've got the main reason why we've asked Grant to be here with us tonight and invite him to our great convention of champions this summer is that we're in the inspirational marketing. We run a hero-making machine. That's what we do. And it runs on high-octane motivation, and not just rah-rah speaking, but I only want to have people talking with our people, being involved with our people that have the moral authority, that have done it. They walk the walk. They're not just out trying to sell books and tapes and that sort of stuff. And this guy here he's a self-made man. He's built his business. He runs businesses today. He understands what entrepreneurship is all about. So I want to be able to have him here. And I think we ought to just be thankful that we'd be able to meet somebody like Grant. You know, we've had a lot of great speakers in our events over the last 30 plus years. We've had the Tony Robbins and the Tom Peters, and we had the Pat Rileys and Stephen Covey, and on and on and on. We've had all these great speakers, and they've done fabulous jobs. But this is, I think what you're going to hear tonight is a speaker that speaks our language and is coming to us at the right time, and it will not only be here tonight, but will be joining us this summer as we have our convention of champions in Vegas. So it's going to be a great time. I look forward to us welcoming a great speaker tonight. I want to first of all just remind you about the convention of champions, because from this event forward, guys, you really got to accelerate this thing. We want to fill up the great big super duper multiple ballrooms that we're going to be there at the Venetian. We want this to be a historic meeting. It's literally a convention of champions. And if you want to be a champion, you got to go where champions go. You know, and I learned a long time ago from Mark Williams. He said, become a champion. It lasts for a lifetime. And this is what tonight's going to help you do that. Let me give an introduction to Grant Cardone. Grant is just he's a dynamic guy. He I mentioned a while ago that he had the moral authority here before he built his big companies that he got. He's become a worldwide name here on the internet and throughout business. And he became a multimillionaire himself. And he wrote best-selling books. All those things are wonderful. But before he did any of that, he was like so many of us. He was broke, he was jobless, and he was drug addicted. Now that's a tough background to overcome. There was a lot of gravitational pull there, but he was able to break away and do it. And he's now an international sales expert, best-selling author, New York Times best-selling author. He's got his own show, the Cardone Zone. I love that name. And he's got the Power Players and all these things. He owns his own internet TV network there. And he's got over 6 million followers on Facebook. One of the top 2 or 3 social media leaders in the world out there. He's internationally known, speaks all around the world. He's author of 7 sales and business books, and I love the title of one of them, "Be Obsessed or Be Average." That's our kind of subject. Yeah, I love for us to obsess on greatness, and he's got a chance to teach us how to do that here tonight. And he's also, we get to see him a lot on some of the great TV shows, the Fox, Fox News, Fox Business, CNBC, and so forth. So it's my great honor and privilege to introduce to you Mr. Grant Cardone. Grant, welcome to HGI, to Leadership Live here tonight.
It is my pleasure, sir. You are a legend in the world of self-improvement opportunities where people gather, and you with Art Williams have provided so many people with so many jobs and opportunities and places to go rather than having no place to go. So I really appreciate being here with you tonight and look forward to doing some big things with you and your company.
Well, it's going to be great. Well, listen, we're going to just, me and you just going to talk tonight. The rest of them can just listen a little bit. But
all right. I like that.
I'm just going to direct you a couple of places, but you feel free to just wander around wherever you want to go. Anything you want to say or change, or you just throw it out at us, because these guys don't get that many shots at you. And we're hoping that somewhere before the convention, we can give them another dose of you to tease them one more time, and then be there with us at the Convention of Champions. And but just very quickly, I'd like you to back up and tell a little bit more about where you came from and where you at now in your life and where you're going, because I just teased them a little bit about it a while ago. I want to hear some more of that story.
So I grew up in Louisiana. You sound like you grew up in the South.
Yeah, Macon, Georgia.
And I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. So Macon, Georgia is like a big city compared to where I grew up. You a city boy.
Oh yeah, I was in South Macon, which was the poor side of town.
Well, there you go. You see. So, and my dad was in the life insurance business. He was trying to make a move on life insurance at about the age of 42. Found out he had a 4th and 5th kid coming. Lost his life insurance company. His partner, I don't know exactly what happened because my dad died when I was 10. But something happened. He lost the company, right? So then he had to start his career over. He had 5 kids, and he had to start everything over again. Borrowed some money to become a stockbroker, to get a stockbroker license. And my mom was back in the 50s. She's a housewife, you know. That's what women did back in the 50s. And my dad died when I was 10. So my dad was 52 years old, left my mom with a little bit of life insurance. If it wasn't for that life insurance, Herbert, she wouldn't have been, I'd been on the streets.
Right.
And, but here's the deal. I mean, it's only so much life insurance, right? And it was no income. So that I wear this shirt, cash flow, because cash flow gives you, getting a check every month makes you feel different.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you don't get a check that you're like, you're under a threat all the time. And that's how that's how I grew up at 10 years old. Like, we weren't poor. We were just scared. We were scared, middle class scared.
Well, with no cash, you'll always be scared. That's where the fear comes from. You know,
Yeah.
one of the things we used to say, we used to give out a T-shirt that said "Cash flow is king."
Uh-huh.
When I first saw you tonight with that cash flow on, I had a flashback to that T-shirt. I love that. I want to give me one of those.
I'll send you one. What size you wear?
Big boy size.
Okay, I'll get you a big one.
Big
So
boy
this
size.
is for our, you know, I came from that, right? So I'm 10 years old. I want to help my mom. I don't care how young you are or how old you are. You want to help the people around you.
Right.
In my worst condition, and you brought up some of the stuff I had to go through in my life, or didn't have to go through, but I did. Even in my worst condition, by the age of 17, I was drug addicted. I was like using drugs every day. I didn't want to use drugs every day. No drug addict does, by the way. And because I didn't have a place to go, didn't have a thing to do, didn't have a mentor, didn't have a guy like you giving me an opportunity, my dad was dead. He was gone, and there was nobody to fill in the gaps. So by the time I was 17, I was using drugs every day. By the time I was 25, I was just like 8 years of using drugs every day. Mm-hmm. Came from a good family, went to high school, went to college. I could get good grades. I could get grades and use drugs. Okay. So I barely got through college. I don't even know how I got out of it, but by the time I'm 20, 23, 25, I'm a wreck. And it wasn't just the drugs, Herbert. It was, I didn't have anything to do. I didn't have a mission. I didn't have a career. School was too slow for me. You know, I don't want to blame 17 years of school for my problems, but when you're bored, you will meet the devil.
You will. You will.
You don't have to die to meet him. He'll come visit you.
Along that same line, you know, because I relate to everything you're talking about there and everything. But how does a Hubert Humphrey and a Grant Cardone, what's your idea of going from ordinary to extraordinary? What was the thing that was from that background? What were the things that really propelled you forward where you moved from the ordinary to the extraordinary in life?
Well, number one, you know, and I'm gonna go back to when I was 10 years old, I wanted to help my mom. When I was 16, I wanted to help her more. When I had a drug problem and I couldn't help her, I wanted to help her even more, right? So it was really this thing. I wanted to help my family, and I couldn't. I didn't know how to. So it wasn't until, number one, I got clean. I quit using the drugs every day, and I got a sales job. I had a sales job that I hated. You know, people are like, oh, I love sales. I'm like, well, you must not be very good at it because nobody really loves it. You know, it's not something you love. You just naturally love. And so I never liked sales. But I decided, and this was a really big turning point for me, I decided that it was time for me to quit complaining about what I liked and didn't like and get great at whatever was in front of me. Mm-hmm. And the only vehicle I had when I was 25 years old was a sales job. And I'm like, I'm going to get great at this job. And I did. You know, I literally went from, in a period when I made a commitment, I said, look, I'm going to just throw myself in this thing completely. Not going to do part-time. I'm not going to dabble. I'm not going to be an amateur. I'm going to get great at something I hate. And everybody wants to do what they love, you know? I hear people say this all the time. I hear guys on stage, some of the guys that you mentioned, find what you love and the money will follow. Oh. I didn't have time for that. I didn't have time to find what I love.
I wanted to do was be in the insurance business. I understand.
Yeah. So I didn't have time. Most people out there don't have time to find the thing they love. They need to pay their bills this month. 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 7.6 members of the American society landed the home, you know, where we're supposed to be brave and free. Most people can't pay their bills.
Right.
So we're one of the best educated countries in the world, and people can't pay their bills. So education's not it. People need a vehicle. I needed a vehicle to go toward every day. I needed something where there was challenges and barriers that I could overcome. And that's what I love about the vehicles you've created for years. It gives people something to do. It gives them a vehicle to roll in. And so that's where my life changed. My life changed when I was 25 years old and I made a commitment to a job I didn't like.
Well, listen, also, I've heard, as I've listened to some of your things over the years, you talk, we call it kind of collapsed timeframes, compressed activity. We in our manual, we have something called a speed calendar where we break things down into many days. But I know that you call your philosophy 10X, and I like for all of the HDI people to kind of hear a little bit about this 10X, this force multiplier concept that you've got.
Yeah. Well, it definitely is a force multiplier. So when I started turning my life around at 25, I did the sales gig. I did it from the age of 25 until probably 45. I didn't understand business. I didn't really start understanding business until the last 10 or 15 years of my life today. Mm-hmm. So you've had unbelievable, massive amounts of success compared to, because I got stuck in that sales game. And so all the little businesses that I would start, I always got stuck in just the sales. I never built the team. That thing that you said at the beginning, the hero making. Mm-hmm. I was the hero. I was the guy that saved the day, saved the deal, made the money. And I didn't build a company. The 10X rule was written after the collapse in 2009. And it was because I became aware. I had 3 little companies. They all made money. I had a lot of money at the time, not compared to what's happened in the last, since this, what do you call it? The force multiplier?
Right.
Makes me sound like an action hero.
Well, you are.
So when I got it, when the 10X rule was written for me to figure out how can I scale my business. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a vehicle like you provide people. That is the service that people don't like. They don't quite understand the value of a vehicle. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the key.
People going
that 10X concept that you've got. We believe in it 100%. And what I've found, because we do a lot of things in financial services, but there's a lot of professional general agents. There's career agents. There's financial advisors, all kinds of people out there. They're in financial services too, but they're kind of like you were talking about a while ago. They're sales guys. They're the one-man gangs, and 95% of them failed in the first 2 years. But the ones that make it, they were just hard-working sales guys. What we found is that we go out and have, with our leadership format system, we give people that vehicle and give them a way of life, and it replicates itself. That becomes, we've kind of been practicing 10X and didn't know it. Yeah,
that's right. Because you have the layers of multiplication that you're offering other people opportunities. So there's today I went from having being a sales guy to today there's 7 companies. They all work. I'm 60 years old. I'm probably top 3 or 4 social media people in the world today. Use it every day. I should not understand it. We didn't grow up with computers. The opportunity today compared to what it was 30 years ago is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. That people can actually scale out. Back in our day, you had to buy a billboard, a TV ad, or a newspaper ad. Today, you don't have to do any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, today I could literally build a group. We just had 300 people attend a conference we did. We sold the entire conference online. I was in Vegas 3 or 4 months ago. Lynn probably knows. I was in Vegas. There was 10,000 people there. The entire event was sold online. Nobody went to anybody's business and knocked on a door. So that kind of possibility for the person that's committed, for a person that really wants to take care of their family, for a person that wants to get in a vehicle and help a lot of people. Today, unlike the Art Williams day, Art always had to have a group. He had to have a meet. He had to bring people to the schoolhouse or to the gym or to the cafeteria or wherever. Today, you can do stuff with social media today that is like, you can reach people all over the world, like at light speed.
That's right. Well, we agree with you 100% and really want to work with you on an ongoing basis, Grant, to let's just tap into that. I mean, I mentioned the 4 multiples. One of them was machines, the whole technology base, the IT base. I'm a high-tech redneck. That's kind of what you are too, but you're a good high-tech redneck. You're doing a great job with it. I love telling people all the time that I've got the same boss that they've got, success. People come complaining to me. I said, don't complain to me. I got the same dadgum boss you got.
I
Success,
love that.
mean. Success is a mean, ugly, nasty son of a gun. I mean, if you don't do what success is, it will fire you. He will not reward you. He or she will not reward you. But I've heard you kind of talk a little bit about success is your duty, your obligation, and your responsibility. What do you mean by that? Tell us a little bit about what you mean by that concept.
I don't have a choice. Okay. I'm operating with no choices now. For me, there's no gray in my life. I have a spiritual obligation to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, a guy told me once, he's like, man, you're really blessed. I said, no, I'm really proving it.
Mm-hmm.
I get tired of hearing people, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. Go prove it. Okay. Like my job, my obligation to whatever anybody considers, whatever created all this,
Mm-hmm.
my obligation is to prove it, is to validate that I have gifts.
So you got the duty and the responsibility and the obligation to go prove these gifts that you've been given, these abilities that you've developed.
And to hone them, to discover the ones I don't even know about. I see a lot of successful people get satisfied. And I work harder today than I did 10 years ago and 20 years ago. So I it's not about the money or the car or having some more numbers in a bank account. It's about how many other people can I help today?
Right.
And you said something really, really important to me in the beginning. I'm not a public speaker. I'm a businessman sharing my successes and failures. I'm doing business all day long. So I find what works with a website or a landing page or on social media or cold calling a customer. I still cold call people today. I was cold calling CNBC today trying to get Jim Ackerman on the phone. So it doesn't matter how well known a person is. If you want to continue to provide for your family and your community and your church, I've raised over $100 million for charity. Nobody calls you to give money for charity. You got to call rich people and say, give me some money.
That's right.
So I'm willing to do those things to be successful. When I raise money for charity, it doesn't pay me. I don't get paid for that, but I get paid spiritually for that. I feel good. I'm making a contribution. It validates me. So that's what I mean by success is my duty. And I love your thing about my boss's success.
Yeah, that's it. That is.
I thought it was my wife, but now I realize it's success.
Well, you got the Lord, my boss, and then success. I have to kind of put it in the right pecking order there.
Yeah.
But then I become my own mean boss. I from that point on, I've got to boss myself because success has done told me what to do, and he's watching over me. But if he's got to sit there and tell me every day, I'm not going to make it. I've got to somewhere along the line have the success habits. We've got to get this thing somewhere on autopilot in here to where we go forward and we fight through the pain. There's a lot of, everybody talks about dreams. We sell a dream, and most people out there who have little dreams, they end up, they never achieve them. Why do you think most people never hit their dreams, never fail at their dreams if they happen to have one?
I think one thing for me, at least I could speak for myself, is that, and again, I'm not a life coach. I leave that to somebody else. I'm a business coach. So I'm not trying to change anybody's state, I'm trying to change their stats.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've just seen the emotional stuff. It's like I'm leaving it alone. If you're emotional about it, it happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm trying to tweak or move is what's in front of me.
You just pointed out the number one reason why I want Grant Cardone on this show and at our meeting is that's my philosophy. And we can I can talk faster. I can jump up and down and do backflips. I used to could do them, but I do all that stuff. But it doesn't last. It doesn't last. You want to move people. There's no saying, and I know you know this saying, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, teach about a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. So we're in financial services, and what we tell people is that, if you go out and sell somebody an insurance policy or sell them an investment, they'll benefit for a time. But if you go and educate them on a concept, or put them with a system and wrap it around that, they'll benefit for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so I'm right with you, man. So
Yeah. And again, it's back to that vehicle. You know, you could sell somebody a product, or you could get them a vehicle that they could go around anywhere in the world and take care of their family and their church, whatever their church is.
So what you're saying is that if they're going to make their dreams come true, they better have a vehicle that'll take them there.
Well, and back to the dream piece, it's like, first of all, I think the reason people don't achieve their dreams is because they dream so small.
Mm-hmm.
That once you butt up against a couple of rejections and disappointments and discouragements, you're like, it's not worth it, because the dream is such a tiny dream. Mm-hmm. And by the way, that's not anybody's fault. The reality is we are not brought up in a society that dreams anymore. Mm-hmm. The dreamers are freaks.
They're dream dead. You know,
yeah, we're dream dead, and we're dream tiny.
Well, they need to, let's say, me and you, let's crank up some dream machines again. Let's get people back dreaming again.
Let's get them dreaming.
Art Williams, you'd have loved Art Williams. Art Williams had a quote. He said, "Dreamers are a dime a dozen, but marathoners are one in a million."
Yeah, that's right.
It was just staying at the game, having that discipline to stay. I watched the Masters yesterday, and I love Patrick Reed winning that thing. He's a grinder. He's a marathoner. All that the hoopla about all those other superstars are going to do this. He just boom, takes on the green jacket. I mean, I love that. That was the way we built our business. Is the way he won the Masters yesterday. Hey, another thing here, you know, it's doubt. You know, doubt is the main thing that holds people down is doubt. They don't think they can do something. That's what keeps people average and ordinary all the time, and it's just a great killer of dreams. In one of your books, it talks about starving the doubt. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, I don't want the doubt around me. I need stability. Like, we were doing this conference this weekend, and I don't need to give people 50 ways to do things. You need to get your head wrapped around 3 or 4 ways to do things. Make that your stable datum. It'll increase your certainty. And this is the problem with the rah-rah. So you're talking about simplifying it so they got to have something to focus on. Don't be too diversified. Yeah, you want to feed the beast and starve the doubt.
I like that. That's great.
The beast is your boss. Your beast is your mission, your purpose, that I have to be. Now, if you're hanging around a bunch of people at a barbecue and they don't have to be, you're feeding the doubt. You know, so guy invited me over to a barbecue once, and he's put in the note there. He's like, bring your own bottle or something. I said, dude, I ain't going to your party. You already got doubt. You serving doubt with the chicken. So I want to be around people that aren't limited or not operating out of scarcity. I don't want people talking negatively about anything that I'm doing. I don't need your criticism. I don't want your input. I don't take advice from a quitter. So what I want to be around people that are winning, that don't have enough time to talk about what I should or shouldn't do. I'll give you one example. At the end of the year, I was thinking about buying a plane. I'm like, I need my own plane so I can get where I want to go. My accountant said I shouldn't do it. My lawyer said I shouldn't do it. Of course, my family said I shouldn't do it. And then
you should do it.
I asked this billionaire, I said, should I? He's like, sure you should. And I'm like, who am I going to listen to? See, he understands the value of time. Time's more valuable than money, right? So it's interesting that the people that couldn't have it said don't. And the people that could have it are like, absolutely, man. It makes so the point is, starving the doubt is cutting the channels of people around you that aren't winning. It doesn't mean I cut my mom or my brother off. It means I spend so much time with the winners, I might spend a little less time with them so I'm in a better condition, and it'll pull them up too the next time I'm with them.
You're right, buddy. Let me just give you a little advice. Nobody's listening. You get that plane, because I promise you, if we'd have never got the first jet in 1983, we had 12 jets. If we'd never had those jets, we wouldn't be having this meeting today. All that history you heard wouldn't have happened, because I just couldn't have got there. My internet was a jet. back
Right, that's right. Right.
I was a human internet because of that jet. Today you could probably build it without that jet, but I think you're going to enjoy it because you're going to go a lot of places and speak to a lot of people all over the world.
Yeah.
Along that same line there and everything, there's too many people who've got this paradigm of small thinking. They're narrow-minded. We were talking a little bit about it. How do they break out of that? What's the number one thing, so we don't get too deep into stuff, what's the number one thing that somebody can do to break out of this paradigm?
You know, the first thing I would tell people is if you're setting goals, you have to understand that the environment you were brought up in means that you will underestimate your ability. So whatever goal you write down, I already know that's wrong.
Right.
You cannot be brought up in Macon, Georgia and have the proper goals at the age of 20.
No.
You can't, it's impossible. Young kid out of Baltimore, his family has never had any money, living below the poverty line. If I ask him what his goals are, he's like, man, I'd like to be rich. He don't even know what that means.
No.
So that's what the 10X rule is. Whatever you think you want, multiply it by 10. And by the way, you're going to multiply by 10 again. Okay. If you track any of these people that are super successful, they think this is it. And then they find out, oh, wow, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. So we underestimate our potential, both in ourselves and the people around us.
That's great. That's great advice. That 10X is a big deal. That sort of a foundational part about 10X, they didn't call it 10X, but something like that was David Schwartz many years ago wrote the book about the magic of thinking big. It changed my life. That was a defining moment in my life 35 years ago. And what you're telling them here is just a modern day supercharged version of what changed my life 35 years ago. So
it's just, exactly. It's just, you know, I've always loved real estate my whole life. And so my first real estate deal was $78,000. My last one was 80 million. So it's like, by the way, the contracts on both of them are exactly the same. The amount of energy it took is the same. The only thing that was different was the way I approached the two deals. They take the same amount of work. It takes the same amount of work to make 50 grand a year as it does 500,000. It's probably easier, actually, Herbert, to make 500 grand than it is to make 50.
It is. And just a couple of things, and then we'll kind of let you go tonight. We sure appreciate you being here. Lots of people out there have full-time jobs and families, and some of them just feel like they don't know what to do. I found out a long time ago. One of my favorite quotes that I used to try to teach our people is that discipline and accountability will lead to ascension and dominance. And I hear you talk a lot about domination, about competition and domination. What do you say is the difference between competition and domination?
Well, competition is good for consumers. It's not good for performers. So because if you and I are in a race and you break your leg, I get to slow down. If you run really fast, then it's going to push me. But the truth is, most of the people that we're around are cripples. And so if you're going to compete with cripples, you're never going to find yourself. And so the concept about competition versus domination is you don't want to compete in the marketplace. Jack Welch used to say this all the time, the guy that ran GE for so long. He says he never went into a business he couldn't dominate. He's like, I either want to control the business or I don't want to be in the business. One of the great things about your company is that you're so close to the money. You know, like I read a book when I was a kid. It was like, the closer you get to the money, the better chance you have of making money.
I like that.
The more things you put between you and money, you start getting distance between you and the opportunity, right? You add a product, then you add a service, then you add this, and it's proximity to the right neighborhood, the right zip code, the right information, the right opportunity, and so if you can dominate I'm not talking about dominating other people. I need to dominate myself.
Right. There you go.
My thinking. What am I reading? What am I looking at? What's my space like? Dominate my environment. Make sure none of the negative stuff is coming in.
Well, Well, you know, the only person you got to beat, the new you's got to beat the old you. That's it.
Yeah.
One of our great youth superstars in our company here, Aki Rupani, one of the first things when he came on board with us, he said, I'm not here to compete. I'm here to dominate. And he sort of planted his flag. Yeah. And that's the attitude you got to have to win and everything. Just one last thing here. Just based upon what you know over the years with the companies that you've seen, you know a little bit about the A.L. Williams story that we built with A.L. Williams, and it's now Primerica, big $4 billion market cap company. We built World Marketing Alliance, the next company with the help of Aegon, and sold it. Now it's the World Financial Group, a $2 billion market cap company. And this is going to be the third part of the trilogy. Knowing what you know about what we've done out there right now, what would you say to the people out there that are listening to you, just from, because I'd like for them to hear from your perspective what they ought to do by hearing that we're doing it a third time.
Well, you're doing it with somebody that's got a lot of experience, and experience matters. Well, and you need to be in the right vehicle, and you need to be on the right track, and it needs to be at the right time. Look, when I gave you that number earlier, about 76% of Americans live in paycheck to paycheck. Right. I think this thing's going to get worse before it gets better. Well, people want more opportunities, not less. Back in the 50s and 60s, my parents said if they buy a house, their savings would be in a house. That's over. Home ownership is down. Trillions of dollars is sitting in the banks today. I think there's $3 or $4 trillion sitting in cash, like literally going down in value, earning less than 0.5%. My mama could earn 10 or 12% earning money. It would take somebody 140 years to earn that money today. The vehicle has to be there, and the timing's got to be right. The Americans' only place to put their money right now is in a stock market that Jack Bogle came out yesterday. He's got $3 trillion worth of funds. He says this is the most volatile market in his 58 years of being in the stock market. So people are scared of it. They're moving out of their homes. You have 75 million baby boomers retiring. You have another 80 million millennials that are broke with $1.3 trillion worth of college debt. This is a great opportunity for the trilogy.
Well, it is. One last thing. What can people expect by coming to the Convention of Champions with HDI this summer and hearing that you're going to deliver that? They know what they're going to get from us. But what are they going to get from
it's at the Venetian, right?
At the Venetian Hotel.
Well, the first thing you need to call the Venetian and tell them to bring out a roofer.
A roofer, okay.
Yeah, because we're going to blow the roof off the place.
I love that. Well, we will call them. I'm making a note right now.
Yeah, say, hey, you need to get some roof insurance.
All right.
You know, what I want to do is I want to give your people strategies. How do you go out and start your business and add one person and then start multiplying? All you got to do is get the first one, and then we multiply by 10. So I taught my kids how to count from 1 to 10. I said, after that, you just start multiplying.
I love that.
You don't need to learn all the numbers. You need to learn how to multiply.
All multiplication is just a faster form of addition. That's
exactly. And
well, Grant, it's been a pleasure getting to know you, getting to be with you. We've talked before a good bit, but it's just great to get to see you. I love your style. I love your message. I love your story. I love your genuineness. A lot of messages popping up here on my phone and all over here. I think they love Grant Cardone here. So I know one thing. I'm gonna be in Vegas to hear you. Look forward to seeing you again soon, buddy.
I'll be there to hear you. Thank you for having me tonight. All right.
Thank you for being with us.
God bless, my friend.
All right. Take care, buddy. Thank you. Hey guys, I'm gonna put this picture up on the screen here for literally you'll see right here where you just go online, get registered for this great Convention of Champions. It says double the experience, double the impact, double the message. And you heard him, guys. You need to come bring a hard hat and bring some armor on, because if you're gonna blow the roof off, this little dust's gonna fall on you, so little pieces gonna fall on you, but it's gonna be great. First, if we're gonna have a great explosion, we got to implode. And I think with messages from Grant and all the other great things we teach in our system, you'll be able to implode Bring your team. Get your people signed up right now. Look at this picture here. I think from what we do here in 2018 at the Convention of Champions at the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas, August 6th through 8th, from that point forward, we're going to fill up an arena in the next 2 or 3 years with another 27,500 people like we had, or more, like we had at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Can we put that picture up, Lynn? Just kind of let them see that. That image, we always put that iconic shot up there. Not to live in the past, but know that we've got to beat that. I told you earlier that the new U's got to beat the old U. Well, the new company's got to beat the old company. The old company, we did this. We've done that before. But in A.L. Williams, we had 34,000 plus at the Superdome back in 1989. So we know how to hold a meeting. Great events. Guys, let's get out there and rally your people. We build our business from great event to great event. Thanks, Grant, for being with us. Thank you for sharing your life with us, and we'll see you at the top.